Hey everyone, I'm Daniel, and this is Chris.
Hello.
You're back, and you're watching the superhero show. You've returned from Brazil.
I've returned from the World Cup.
Should we not talk about that too
I'd
much?
rather not. I went out there for no reason whatsoever.
But you had a lovely time, which is the main thing. Now,
But I didn't hear any superhero news while I was away.
Nothing happened.
All it was is football in
nothing
Brazil.
happened, Chris. Very little's happened this week, but one quite big thing happened this week was the first official picture from Dawn of Justice. A lot of people are like, oh, there's already been pictures. There's a picture of, obviously, we saw Ben Affleck as Batman,
Yep.
which was taken by Snyder, so it's not official. There was that picture early in the week of Henry Cavill as Clark Kent. Again, that probably shouldn't have got out there.
Yeah, no glasses.
So this is the first official picture. It looks like it's from in the movie, maybe not directly from the scene, but it's been put out there, and it shows Henry Cavill as Superman on a rooftop in presumably Gotham City.
That's what we're thinking, isn't it?
Yeah, so what was your first reaction to this picture?
He's been working out.
He's buff, isn't he?
He looks massive.
Because he was quite weedy in the first movie.
He wasn't, but he looks even bigger this time around. He looks a bit miserable. It looks like he's got a lot on his mind.
Yeah.
Zack Snyder's Superman does have a lot on his mind. He's a troubled man.
We've talked about this on the show before, how a few years ago the watchword with sequels was darker. Like, go darker, go grittier. And I thought Man of Steel, for all the destruction in the final reel, more than the final reel, it was quite a hopeful film. Mm-hmm. The whole kind of theme about the movie is hope.
It's what the S means.
It's not an S, Chris.
It's not an S.
It's not an S.
Yeah.
It's a symbol of hope from where I come from.
Yeah.
And this looks definitely gloomier. And if you're putting out the first picture, you're basically setting out your stall, aren't you? And saying, this is a statement about, not the movie, but also the tone of the movie and where we're going. And it is a gloomy movie, gloomy still.
Yeah.
Also, pathetic fallacy. It's raining.
Yep.
It doesn't have to be raining.
It doesn't have to be raining. But in the previous still, the one of Batman, the Batmobile looked wet as well. Like it had been raining.
A lot of rain.
A lot of rain in this film. Someone give Soups an umbrella. Yeah,
they have to give Aquaman something to play with. It's just going to be like flopping in puddles.
Is it going to be like Noah? That's what's the no. Sorry,
can it not be like Noah,
okay,
please.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about Gotham City in the background? You can kind of see it. There's like smokestacks.
Yeah.
The city looks more disorganized than you would from a metropolis, which was very clean.
Yeah.
Kind of New York, basically.
Yeah. There's not much of Metropolis left, is there?
No, there's nothing. So maybe they rebuilt it like this. So it looks more like the kind of intricate, dense, labyrinthine metropolis city that you associate with Gotham.
Yeah, I agree. It looks cool in the background. I mean, we're trying to read into this, aren't we? Like what we can from this
and
one
like,
still.
And the only other one thing I'd say about this still, if you kind of go down to roundabout where Superman's feet are,
okay,
in the background, there are kind of markings.
Oh yeah. Sorry, we're looking at behind
past
the camera. So I'm seeing this.
The kind of markings.
I've not seen.
I was trying to work out what these markings were. I was like, are they something to do with the villain? Are they Kryptonian symbols? And ultimately, I got to the point where I thought, you know what, they might just be set design, it might just be graffiti.
Yeah.
Which brought up the bigger question that we had when we were deciding what to talk about this episode.
Yeah.
Was, all we're riffing off is a picture, and as you can probably tell, we're kind of scrabbling for things to talk about.
What are we doing, essentially? We're going to be hypocritical now. Are we all just reading too much into these things?
Two-faced.
It's because we're desperate to know more about this film.
Yeah.
Because we're geeks, we're fans.
So we want to know, like, do we overanalyze these things? And of course we do. We've made a bloody series out of it.
Yeah.
Where we kind of dissect the minutiae of every single thing that comes out, every story, every rumour.
Yeah.
Is that inherently a dangerous thing to do, or is it basically a game that we all love playing?
I think it's fun.
Yeah.
I think it is a game that we also play. It can make us all look a bit stupid if we go back and review some of these calls we've made, these predictions that we've made.
Chris, you know the internet deletes itself every 2 weeks. It's fine.
Down the line. But I guess we're about to see an avalanche of information about this film because Comic-Con's around the corner.
Yeah.
And I think the expectation is that there'll be announcements made there. We might see footage. We'll certainly find out what these casting rumours are that are kind of floating around.
Who's genuinely in it and who isn't. I think it can be a lot of fun, like you say. I like the detective element of it. I like playing.
Do you feel like Batman?
I feel like Sherlock.
Say Batman.
I'm Batman.
Yeah.
But I think it can be detrimental when the film isn't coming out for ages.
Yeah.
And I still, with this movie, even though production's well underway, it's still It's not next year.
No,
it's the year after. That's a long time to sustain the machine.
And we're killing the surprise, aren't we? Like the treat you get when you see a film and you don't know much about it. Like we're trying to find out buggering and everything.
And probably now until release, we'll probably work out a lot of the stuff in between what's officially announced. Especially if they've got to keep momentum for this film for 2 years. They've got to have a lot of PR drops.
Yeah.
And the marketing machine needs stuff to churn out.
Yeah.
But then you get to the movie and it's all been laid bare.
Yeah.
And
saturated the market.
It's inherently disappointing.
So should we stop doing this show?
Yeah.
Is that what we're building up to?
I can't think of anything to do with it anymore.
Interestingly, there were some quotes from Snyder as well. One of the ones I thought was a bit strange was him talking about why it's Batman v Superman.
Yeah, I didn't really...
rather than VS.
Yeah.
And he says it's so separated to show that it's not versus. But V means versus as well as VS means versus. Yeah. So actually that doesn't make any sense.
Basically, that's nonsense.
Yeah.
But also, if it doesn't mean versus, what does it mean?
Why is there a V then?
V. What's it mean?
I didn't like that quote.
Verb?
But we did like another quote, didn't we?
He referred to Ben Affleck's Batman as crusty old Batman.
Awesome.
Not a euphemism. Affleck's crusty old Batman. What do you think about that?
I liked it.
I guess that's kind of what we extrapolated from the initial image, that it looked more kind of like a Frank Miller Batman.
Yeah, and he did say that when they made this initial announcement. He did quote from The Dark Knight Returns. Yes. So it's just kind of backing that up, isn't it? But I think that's cool. Like that's a great angle.
We've seen different embodiments of Batman. It'd be good to see that one realised more fully. Like, for a brief amount of time, I thought that's what they were going to do, or kind of draw on more thoroughly in Dark Knight Rises, like at the beginning when he's retired from being Batman.
Yeah.
But to be fair, in that film, he kind of slips back into being regular Batman pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Whereas it's nice to see a Batman who has probably had a more fuller career than Christian Bale's Batman ever did.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people have analysed how long a period of time Bale was Batman for.
It
probably wasn't that long.
It's a few months, isn't it?
Yeah. And you want to see someone who has really served his time. He's seen all that. And if there's this new generation of superheroes emerging, ones with superpowers, I think it might be quite funny to have the one old kind of statesman who did it all before them, who did it without any powers. I think that could be some nice lighter moments.
Yeah, and kind of the Dark Knight Returns take, or maybe more like an Unforgiven kind of take on the character. Yeah. So liking that.
Yeah, so we probably will be back next week analysing a screenshot. So, but as always, want to hear from you what you want us to do with the show, what we should be talking about, because this really is a show made by us but for you. So contact us at IGN_UK feedback at IGN.com. See, that was a nice link. The email address still ruined it somewhat.
But no, next week we'll be analysing what the smoke might be that's coming out the chimney.
Yeah, stay tuned for that.
So look forward to that one.
Yeah, see you there.
Cheerio.